I'm just wondering if Todd Boehly manages to do what Roman Abramovich couldn't, and that's find a new home for Chelsea. I wonder how much the perception of Boehly and Iqbali will change, as opposed to the very much the current negative vibe that they often attract. Chelsea, we hear, are close to sealing a $500 million investment from the American firm Eris Management to help fund a new stadium, while looking to cut the amount they pay in player salaries by tens of millions of pounds.
What are you going to get for 500 million quid? Let's have it right. You're not going to get a new stadium for 500 million quid. Spurs have just built one for £1 billion. You've got the same problems that Abramovich had, which is the Chelsea pitch holders, and also the fact that the infrastructure around Chelsea cannot cope with Chelsea going to a 63,000 seater stadium because of the traffic flows. So they've got the same challenges. And what Abramovich tried to do and put a prospectus in was to build another bridge across the Thames, right? And people went, yeah, I get the fact you're a billionaire, but you don't just build bridges across the Thames indiscriminately. So
but it can be done. $500 million. You got the Emirates for 390 million.
What, 20 years ago?
Well,
forget about it. If you want to build a 60,000 seater stadium, 70,000 to keep up with the Arsenals and the Tottenhams of the world, right? Then you're going to be spending in London, with all that goes with it, you're going to be spending £1 billion.
Bramley Dock for Everton, estimated cost 500 million.
But that's not London. London real estate, London infrastructure, London cost implications are a completely different ballpark. And of course, I don't know to what specification they're building Everton. What's the capacity of Bramley Park going to be? I don't know off the top of my head. But I imagine it's going to be something.
It'll be about 60,000.
60,000,
yeah.
Right. But notwithstanding that, it still has a different criteria to attach to it, a different set of credentials being built up in the north. No disrespect to the north intended. No. But we all know that real estate costs far less in the north than it does in the south, and certainly in central London.
But you always say the south, living in the south is superior to living in the north.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. I say that I'm a southerner, so I appreciate the south more than I appreciate the north.
Why?
Because I'm a southerner. That's what I like. I've been, why wouldn't you? I mean, I'm assuming, no, because you ran off with the English pound, so you turn your back on it straight away. You probably think Scotland's a terrible place now that you live over here and taking our money.
Not at all. Far from it. So you don't think that it can be done?
No,
for
I think it can be done.
That amount it can be done.
No, I think the argument that they're going to be able to do it is like the argument that Palace has made repeatedly and sold a pup to the fans that they're going to redevelop Sellers Park. They never have done. They've not moved it. They can't do it. I know they can't do it because I tried to do it. So I know that you can't move Crystal Palace up to the National Sports Centre because they won't have it up there. And also you can only build a 20,000 seater stadium, so what would be the point of it? And you can't wrap around Sellers Park because you've got to buy every single bleeding house and every single road or make it a complete and utter financial nightmare.
So that was another thing you tried and failed?
Yes, of course.
Oh, okay.
Tried and attempted but never got over the line.
Never got over the line. And do you think he'll get this over the line?
I think there's a whole raft of challenges to it. I know that Abramovich, I know who is trying to raise the money from, because Abramovich was trying to build the stadium, wasn't trying to pay for it, he was trying to fund it. And he would have got the funding for it. So there was a plan in place about 5 years ago with Abramovich, with funding at its centre to build a stadium, which is sensible. Right. People would suggest that given he's paid for everything with cash, they'd have done this, but he was going to fund it. Yeah. So I think they've got challenges. I think the challenge you cannot get around the Chelsea pitch holders. They are a very difficult breed to deal with, and they have certain requirements which make it quite prohibitive. Even if you could, it's difficult to develop Stamford Bridge given the infrastructure problems that will have the same challenges that Abramovich had, which is you cannot have 65,000 people coming into that stadium with that geographic situation. Then you can move to Earl's Court. If you think you can buy a piece of land, of course you're going to be able to sell the footprint at Stamford Bridge. I get it. But it's still going to cost you £1 billion to build a stadium. Why would it cost Tottenham £1 billion and it wouldn't cost Chelsea?
Okay, there's somebody trying to tell me that Bramley Dock is 750 million so far and it's not even completed.
What happened to Wembley? Okay,
it can't be that. It can't be that amount of money.
What happened to Wembley? I mean, okay, we got the village idiot politicians involved, Tessa Chow, wasn't it? And when you kick Ken Bates out, whatever you think of Ken Bates, he was running a ship that was going to actually build a stadium for 350 million quid. Yeah. And the politicians got involved. What did Wembley cost to build? 757 million.
Right.
So what's your point then? It will cost £1 billion.
My point is Boehly will probably be as near as damn it to getting it done. Because that will change his legacy overnight if that happens. Abramovich didn't manage to do it.
Okay, so you put a stinking team into a brand.
Palace.
You put a stinking team into a brand new state. The only thing that will change Todd Boehly's legacy, and this thing about legacies, Todd Boehly's current achievements, will be his team winning.
Yeah.
And then the discussion.
Here's the thing: your beloved Manchester United, the iconic club.
My beloved Man United. I mean, I realise I live in the south and I could form a big part of their fan base by definition, but I'm not. It's not my beloved Man United.
Ten Hag and his boys better start winning, because we hear this morning that Manchester United's poor start to the Premier League season is having a negative impact on the takeover process. Bidders even less likely to meet the owner's inflated asking price of more than £5 billion.
Where'd you get that from? The Beano?
No. A guy you know very well, Matt Lawton, the chief sports correspondent of the Times.
Oh, definitely not the Beano if it's Matt Lawton then.
1 and 1 equals 2 in this instance. If they don't start winning, it doesn't. At this stage, it is not an attractive investment for anybody at $5 billion, is it?
Oh yeah. Well, they're not selling it for $5 billion, are they?
What are they selling it for?
It doesn't appear that they're selling it full stop right now.
The Glazers want between 5 and 7. They're not going to smell that. And at the moment, the way they're scoring so many own goals literally on the pitch doesn't make them attractive.
Well, you, Roger Melly, the man on telly, were talking about them last week going for $10 billion because of the USA World Cup and holding out for that. So how does that square that particular circle with that particular press cutting that you've got there?
Do you think this is going to happen, say, in the next year or even 2 years?
I genuinely don't know. I think if the climate is right for Manchester United to sell the football club and there's enough buyers that they can create competitive tension with to get the Glazers precisely what they think they want or whatever opportunities result, possibly. But
to be fair to you, you've been right on it.
I've said that. Yeah, I didn't think they'd sell it in any particular short order, and I didn't think it would stop them spending £200 million in the transfer window, and it hasn't.
Yeah,
I don't think the Clown College passing as a supporters trust that tell everyone that they're in last chance saloon are going to have any influence over them. I don't think the fact that they've not won a few games is going to diminish their price. I don't think any of that. I think that the Glazers have a valuable asset in the eyes of so many people around the world, and when they find the time that suits them best, because it might be through tax efficiencies, it might be through the economic market, it might be through a 2026 World Cup in the US, creating more tension for them, but they're in no hurry because it's not burning a hole in their pocket, is it, right now?
Suppose not. I suppose not. I mean, I must admit, I've now drifted into your camp on this one, that I can't see a sale happening. Not in the foreseeable future.
Sell it eventually.
Not in even the next year to 18 months. I can't see it.
Well, there will be a time when it's sold because nothing lasts forever. And I don't see it being a legacy situation where they hand it down to their kids as it was handed down to them, because it was Malcolm Glazer that bought Manchester United. It was his intellectual capital that decided to structure the deal in the way that it has been structured, which is gear it to the proportion that they have.
Yeah.
But there will be a point, and I would suspect it will be certainly within the next half a decade, that United will be sold by the Glazers.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.